You are now watching Zach Lesage, the best place to learn about competitive Pokemon TCG. Let's get it! Yo, what's poppin' peeps? Welcome back to the channel, Zach Lesage here. Today we are going to be covering over another early deck profile from Brilliant Stars. This one is going to be Eternatus VMAX, and I think there's a lot of cards that are really good for Eternatus VMAX that are coming out in Brilliant Stars. I mean, that's really why we're bringing this deck back and covering this one again early. Namely to say, Etern has always struggled to search for Pokemon, and ever since we lost Pokemon Communication, that was last released in Team Up, we have gained Ultra Ball in this set. Ultra Ball allows us to get energies from the discard pile for Galarian Moltres. It does allow us to search out any of our pieces, which I think is going to make this deck quite consistent. We also gained Liepard, that's coming out in Brilliant Stars, from the start deck 100 kind of function of the Japanese equivalent. That is similar to Zoroark GX, where you can pitch a card from your hand and draw 2 cards. I think all of these additions are going to be great to the deck. I'm really excited to see exactly how it's going to work out. And you want to, we can jump a little bit more when it comes to the deck profile. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and let's get to 10,000 subs soon, okay? Let's jump into the deck. Word, that's this is what we got going on for Eternatus VMAX. So before we jump into the general strategy and going in on the card by card inclusions for this particular deck, I want to get 2 things off the table. First and foremost, this is an early deck profile. It features cards from Brilliant Stars that are not available in English yet. I do have in the description a link to the Pokebeach link. I do want to shout out Pokebeach for translating these cards. A lot of people ask me, how am I creating these images? I am creating these limitless on Limitless with the image generator. Sometimes you could just type in things like Liepard and it pops up. Other times for things like Arceus V, you have to go with the set abbreviation. So S9 being capital S and 9, and then the card number 83. So you got to get used to it, but once you get used to it, you could build cool Japanese or future format decks. So early deck list, we're going to see how it works out. I'm going to try to test this one on my channel a little bit soon too, and we'll see how that plays out. Eternatus VMAX is all about its Eternal Zone ability. So Eternal Zone allows you to have your bench grow from 5 to 8, which is awesome. That allows you to do more damage with its Dread End attack. So this deck's all about doing 30 times the amount of Pokemon you have in play, which seems really cool. It's not necessarily affected too much by power or by Path to the Peak, because its ability, you could still probably 2-shot most VMAX Pokemon, because having 5 on the bench with 1 in the active is still 180 times 2. And then of course, if you have Collapse Stadium, you're doing 150 times 2, but we do have ways to get around Collapse Stadium Path to the Peak with Galar Mine. We have a bunch of useful Dark-type Pokemon in this deck. We just got one in the start deck kind of 100 version of, it's coming out in Brilliant Stars, but I just want to say it's from that portion if you're looking where it is with Liepard. Liepard allows you to pitch a card from your hand and draw 2 cards. That allows us to kind of, it's a good Pokemon to have on the bench. So similar to how we probably have whatever useful dark type Pokemon are good. Liepard's definitely new to the party. We have ways to accelerate energies with Moltres, and Zigzagoon again is an inclusion that comes in and out of the deck quite often. So the whole goal, build up a gigantic board state of Pokemon and swing hard with Dread Ends. And that's the basic strategy. So if you are new to the game, this is a great deck to choose in general. And if you're returning to the game, you might like Eternatus VMAX. I think it's a little basic, but basic doesn't mean bad. It means that it might be efficient, but it's pretty cool. So let's kind of go over the cards. Eternatus V is largely a way to evolve into Eternatus VMAX. I think that works out pretty self-explanatory enough. You do have Power Accelerator, so if you have a couple dark energies, you can attach one to the Eternatus V and rip one onto your opponent's or onto one of your Pokemon. What am I talking about? So you can power up the Etern V with your energy per turn, do 30 damage to your opponent's active. That could also factor into a lot of things to kind of hit things. So let's say if you're playing against an Arceus V-Star, you could hit them for 30 and then build up an energy on another Etern, just so that the other one doesn't get knocked out. Whether it gets knocked out in the active or not, you could evolve and Dread and knock out your opponent's Pokemon. So it's a way to kind of increase your damage output and not always get knocked out in response. You have its second attack's really not going to get used too often. I quite often find that it does not, but it might get used. It's one of those things where if you're able to build up 4 energies there, you're either playing against a really weird matchup or something's going incredibly wrong in your game. Eternatus VMAX is all about its ability, so getting that full bench and swinging hard with Dread End. Not only does the full bench help out Dread End, it does allow you to have cards like Crobat and Liepard and all these other things to really build up a dynamic bench of different Pokemon that all have useful things for it, so it kind of collects those as it kind of powers itself up that way as well. Because it's not like you're just benching things like Crobat on the bench. You're drawing cards with those Crobats. You're pitching cards away from your hand and drawing cards with Liepard. Liepard's not necessarily affected by paths, so that's cool too. You can build up energies with Galarian Moltres. Like, you see how you could build up more of a dynamic board state with that. Its attack, Dread End, is mainly meant to beat Pokemon that are that you could attack with it. You're two-shotting most Pokemon. You have a large amount of HP. And your attack is incredibly efficient, especially when you factor in things such as Galarian Moltres Dire Flame Wings and Energy Switch. You could power it up a little bit quickly and see how those plays really work out for you. So I think that seems pretty cool there too. When it comes down to other things, we can look at Etern two ways. We can look at that it knocks out VMAX Pokemon with 2 hits, or we can look at that it knocks out Pokemon V-Star with 1 hit. V-Stars look like they are going to be largely part of the new metagame, Arceus V-Star largely being one of the most popular Pokemon. That's why we play Zigzagoon, so 270 plus 10 does knock out an Arceus V-Star. So we have that option to knock out an Arceus V-Star really early, and drawing 2 prize card here, 2 prize card there really works out a lot. And against VMAX, like, there are Mew VMAX is very popular. It looks like it's going to get better, if anything, in our next format. So having access to a Pokemon that OHKOs Mew VMAX, OHKOs Arceus V-Star, has a pretty unpopular weakness, kind of. Like, there's not too many fighting type decks. And if anything, like, Rapid Strike Urshifu does get a little bit buffed by Manaphy a little bit, I do want to throw out there that Etern might be in its best position yet. Crobat allows you to draw cards. You could also attack with Crobat when it comes down to it. Maybe you're going to hit a Zamazenta or something else like that, but you do have options to attack with Crobat, but mainly we're just using it dark assets. You're drawing cards. If you ever have the opportunity to pitch your bench, whether they shut off Eternal Zone, or maybe your opponent's plays Clap Stadium, Crobat V is probably going to be the first to go. Purrloin, this is the better Purrloin. I don't necessarily like the one from Start Deck 100. The Purrloin from Start Deck 100 has a 2 energy attack. This one has a 1 energy attack. This one has more HP. This one has the same amount of retreat cost. I think the one from Champion's Path, it's the same one as also the one from Darkness Ablaze. Off the top of my head, they're both the same exact card, same arts. They're both, I think that's the better Purrloin. It's only a vessel to evolve into the Liepard. Having access to trade, pitching a card, drawing cards is great. You could pitch energies for Galarian Moltres. You could draw cards through Path to the Peak. You have a lot of ways to just make your deck a little bit more stable. Don't necessarily draw everything through your entire deck because you're really going to struggle to decking out. But kind of go with the flow and see exactly what you could do throughout the game. I'm sure there's got to be a bunch of useless cards such as Ultra Ball, Quick Ball, Great Ball, maybe even other Eternatus or other basic pieces that you could pitch away. I think Liepard is a good way to draw cards. That's kind of my idea. It's like Liepard adds to this deck because it makes the deck more consistent. Consistently doing 270, knocking out V-Stars, knocking out Mew VMAX sounds really good. Doesn't sound bad at all. Galarian Moltres V is really a way to build up energy, so after an Eternatus falls, or maybe you could discard a Dark Energy with Ultra Ball, Quick Ball, Trade, Research, build up those energies. It gives you an out to attack things such as Zamazenta V. It gives you a way to go Energy Switch, attack, things like that. It could be really cool. Zigzagoon is all about placing those necessary damage counters. So I was thinking about adding Choice Belt to this deck. That's obviously a new card, but I was like, what does 270 plus 30 ever do? Who cares about 300 damage, right? And maybe I'm looking at it wrong and I should be playing Eternatus VMAX and Zigzagoon and Choice Belt and playing like 4 Zigzagoon and 3 Choice Belt. Maybe that's the wave and that's why these lists are early. Right now, Zigzagoon's meant to bring your 270 to 280 to knock out Arceus V-Stars, and I think that works out pretty well. Otherwise, you're two-shotting most VMAX. I think going Zigzagoon, Zigzagoon, Choice Belt is really hard on the second turn, but maybe that's really what we're looking for. We'll have to see if this deck can become a little bit more aggressive. Maybe we cut a couple Crobats because we have access to Leopards. Maybe we cut a couple Leopards, a 1/1 Liepard line for another 2 Zigzagoons and find some other space elsewhere. These are really some of the ideas. Let's get the creative juices flowing. Let me know what you think about this stuff in the comments below. Research is probably just the best supporter card that we have. We can play down a bunch of cards from our hand, just rip our hand to shreds. Maybe we need to go more of a Marnie base now that we have all these draw cards with Crobat and Liepard and stuff like that. Boss works out that we play 3 now because we cut the Umbreon VMAX line. I was thinking about playing Umbreon and Liepard. I just couldn't find the room for it. And Marnie, again, 2 of because we can just play it after using trade. I think it's cool, but I'm not sure if I want to play more Marnie or if 2 is the correct number. I went with 4 Great Ball, 4 Quick Ball, and 4 Ultra Ball just to be able to grab my Pokemon so quickly. My Pokemon is largely like Crobat's draw support, Liepard's draw support, so we can draw cards really quickly, and I think that seems to be working out well. Ultra Ball being a new reprint coming out in our Brilliant Star set, so pitch 2 cards from your hand, search your deck for any Pokemon. Makes this deck quite consistent. You could also pitch cards away for dark assets, so you could draw more. Switch, just 2 switch and 3 hiding Darkness Energy allows you to kind of get around whatever your opponent might throw out there. Maybe they're going to make you asleep or poison or something like that, or you're just going to try to attack with a different Pokemon. I think that switch and hiding dark really get around that. Energy Switch does help you move your energies around. Maybe you want to use Dire Flame Wings, move an energy, accelerate something really quickly, or take something off an Eternatus VMAX that's about to fall and switch it to a new one so you can attack differently. Galar Mine seems to be the stadium that works the best here because we have access to Hiding Dark and we have access to Switch, so it works, and our energy count seems normal enough. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about everything. This deck should be relatively consistent with the Leopards, the Ultra Balls, and all those things, so I think that is the step in the right direction. However, more and more that I was talking about, I was like, you want to know what? I do kind of like the Choice Belt, Zigzagoon, maybe even Scoop Up Nets in this deck, just so that you could always get one-shots with Etern, because with 340 HP, it's likely not going to get hit back, so maybe there's a way to add that in. I'm still going to figure that out, but that's something to come from a little bit more testing, and if you get a chance to test it before I do, I'd love to hear your opinion on this deck, so let me know what's going on in the comments below. Like I said, I'm one of the only YouTubers, or one of the only YouTubers that I know that tries to get back to every single comment. Right now, as we approach 10K, that's possible. I don't know if it's always possible, but I do get back to everyone's comments whenever possible. That's what we got going on for Etern today. Hopefully you learned a thing or two about this deck. It's one of those things where I'm trying to actually cover most of these decks in real life with tabletop as well to kind of accompany these videos. So stay tuned for more of that. I'm going to be grabbing some of my friends, playing some more tabletop content, getting that to you. Those videos take forever to render because they're like tons of gigabytes and files because we got HD cameras recording all the time, but you want to know what, I am working on them. I am getting towards it, so if you want to see some more of those decks in action, stay tuned to the channel. I really appreciate all the support. I do want to stress that out so much that we just passed 9,000 subs. I'm incredibly grateful for that. We're definitely on our journey to getting to 10K, and I know that we can definitely get there. More things pertaining to Etern. I think Etern seems like it's going to be a solid deck in Brilliant Stars. We'll have to see how the metagame plays out. I don't know how nicely it's going to play with Arceus V-Star, but these are things that I'd really want to see how that plays out and learning a little bit more about it each and every day. And the set's still a month away, so I do want to stress that out a lot, that there are a lot of early decks here, a lot of early concepts, and maybe there's cards to release that I don't even know that's getting released that they toss in at the end. It's still really early content, so stay tuned for more great stuff. Give this video a thumbs up. It does boost the YouTube algorithm a lot. Subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch up with all y'all real soon. Peace out and have a great day. I truly appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. It means the world to me. And my goal with this channel is to spread my love of the game and knowledge with our entire Pokemon TCG community. If you haven't already, help signal boost this video to other Pokemon TCG fans by liking it, sharing it with your friends, and subscribing to the channel. Hopefully we reach our goals really soon. Check out this recommended video and have yourself a great day. Thanks.